If you're a six-figure earner, you don't need more money. In today's video, I'll be explaining to you guys how your singular focus on money has actually been costing you wealth and what you can do about it. My name is Hafeez and I'm one of the co-founders of The Standard. The Standard is a private membership community that improves the wealth, health, and relationships of six-figure earners through like-minded community and personalized strategies for success. And so one of the biggest things that I am so passionate about is helping great men like you. And I'm telling you, you do not want to be multitasking for this video. If you need to put this on pause, you need to finish up what you're doing. If you need to watch this after work, this is not a background video. I need you focused. I need you taking notes because this information right here can potentially, and for some of you guys, will change your life. But before we begin, let me tell you guys a quick story. So there was a member recently joined The Standard, and he was suffering from the worst bouts of depression. I mean, it got so bad, he couldn't get out of bed. He went to Dr. A, went to Dr. B, went to Dr. C, and all they did was give him different, SSRIs and different medicines and different pills. And yeah, it kind of helped at times, but he felt even worse. His body felt grouchy. Like he just was so upset and not content with his life. And then eventually got to, his ends with, and he eventually found this doctor who taught holistic medicine. And initially he was like, man, I don't like all that woo stuff. I don't want to hear about all that nonsense. But then when you sat down and heard from this doctor, what he found out was that a lot of the times for some people, their issue with depression has nothing to do with a chemical imbalance of the mind, as some of the more establishment doctors teach. And a lot of times your issue with depression happens because of what's going on in your gut. And there is a strong connection between your gut and your brain. A lot of people call it the gut-brain axis. And a lot of times if you solve the problem with your gut, if you're able to adjust your diet and you're able to get the right bacteria in the system, it can literally solve your depression. The guy didn't believe it. He applied it and literally got transformational results. Like, holy crap, I never knew my body was so interconnected and how a lot of the times I'm focusing on one part, but it's really being affected by another. That illustration has everything to do with what I see going on in today with so many men like you guys who want to be rich and who want to build wealth. Here's the reality. There's nothing wrong with being rich. There's nothing wrong with building wealth, especially to take care of your family. But a lot of you guys are hurting yourselves, and a lot of you guys are what we call Johnny Bravos. And if you remember the 1990s Johnny Bravo TV show, Johnny Bravo had a huge upper body, small lower body. So as a result, a lot of you guys, what does that mean? That means that when it comes to financially, you're doing well, you're investing your time, energy, and resources, but in the other areas of your life, emotionally, spiritually, socially, and when it comes to your physical health, you are suffering. And so what I realized is that so many guys simply want to focus in on solving the wealth problem. Similar to those doctors, you just want to solve, okay, let me get this SSRI. Let me go ahead and give him this pill. Let me go ahead and give him this. A lot of you guys spend all your energy just simply trying to, resolve the wealth. But here's what happened. Your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your social health is all connected to your financial health. And guys don't even realize that. And a lot of times your problem that you think is a money problem is really a physical, emotional, spiritual, or social problem. Let me give you an example. A lot of you guys are like, man, you know what? I need to work more hours at work. If I can only work more hours, if I can be more productive, then I can make more money. And so you're trying to really, hustle and pull an Elon Musk and work 120 hours a week. But guess what? The reason why it's harder for you to work that many hours is because you're so freaking unhealthy. You're not going to the gym. You're not eating right. You're not dieting. You're not sleeping. Yeah, some people like Patrick Bet-David can run off with 5 hours of sleep, but guess what? You're not him. And so what you don't realize is that, if you literally, instead of spending 90 hours at work, if you were to spend 75 hours at work and 15 hours in the gym and in your nutrition, you're going to see more energy. You're going to see more focus, and literally you're going to be more productive in those 75 hours than you ever were when you just focus on your health with 90 hours. Let me continue. A lot of you guys, this is my grind season, man. I need to focus on my business. I need to just go all in here. But here's the problem. Emotionally, you have so much unresolved trauma. You don't sleep well at night. You're still hurt from that breakup. You're still mad at your mom. You're still disappointed at your dad. I'll never forget when Patrick Bet-David told me that he had a panic attack because he was so overwhelmed because he wasn't taking care of his emotional health and he had to get rushed to the doctor. And so my question for you guys is, be honest with me. A lot of you guys have had an emotional breakdown recently, and you've had a panic attack. And I'm being honest, I've been there. I was so crazy focused on just making money. I did eventually have one of these episodes, and it was terrible. And to me, what I realized is, man, do you not want to experience the best that life has to offer? And so you have to address your emotional health. Because guess what? When you address the demons and the skeletons in your closet, you get peace. And when you have peace, when you have clarity of mind, you play even better. You enter flow state. A lot of you guys, that's when you're at your best, not when you're freaking distracted, have all these issues. So literally neglecting your emotional health is costing you so much money. And not only that, let's continue with spiritual, because so many guys, spiritual is the first thing that goes away. But here's the reality. Spiritual has everything to do and is connected to your character. And a lot of times, your talent can get you in the room, but your character keeps you in the room. And for a lot of you guys, that's why it's so hard to get a raise. That's why it's so hard for you to get hired by certain companies. That's why it's so hard for you to get customers, because people don't trust you. Because you deep down inside just want money so badly. Your spirit's not aligned with God. You're not living out of your true purpose. Yeah, making money is good in a season, but that can't be your solo purpose. There has to be something greater than that. That motivates you, that drives you for excellence. And so imagine what happens if you literally have alignment and you're connected with God and you're living out your purpose daily. Then you're really creating generational wealth. And not only that, let's talk about social. Because a lot of you guys I'm going monk mode. I'm just burying my head in the sand. I'm just disappearing. I don't need anybody. I'm a self-made man. Guess what you're not realizing? In this world, there is no true wealth creation besides investing. And you can either invest in your development by investing in coaches and in communities to get around like-minded people to help you grow, or you have to go ahead and invest in business like real estate and different things along those lines. But both those things require having a vibrant social connection. It's funny because when you study communities in America that are some of the wealthiest, like, for example, Jewish Americans, I literally saw a study that said 50% of Jewish households earn over $100,000 a year. And they also went on to say that 25% of Jewish households earn over $200,000 a year. That is crazy. Mind you, only 11% of Americans earn over $100,000. In Jewish, the household is about 50%. And so what happens is in these communities, where it's Jewish, whether it's Indian, whether it's Taiwanese, whether it's Chinese, they have tight social connections. Because guess what? When you have social connections, you're able to get information and free game from somebody else. When you have tight social connections, you're able to get insider deals on real estate. You're able to get into certain business opportunities because of your connections. And so a lot of you guys are spending 90 hours a week just trying to make money by yourself. Alex Hermazi actually put me onto this, so you guys would appreciate this. If you're one person getting information, you only have 24 hours in a day to gather all the information possible. If you are simply one individual. If you are 4 individuals, you guys have an opportunity in a day to gather 96 hours worth of information. Because guess what? All 4 of you guys have 24 hours. All 4 of you guys can do research and then put that together. Guys, that's why some communities build wealth and others don't. Because some people, they don't have 4 people working and solving a problem, working together. They have 40. That's why it becomes so unfair in this life. You're using your measly 24 hours a day to solve a problem, and other people are literally using 960 hours a day to solve a problem because they have this social connection. They have a community. And that's why I'm so bullish about what we're creating in the Standard. Because so many great men are at this alone. And if we would work together with other six-figure earners, you're able to transform the world. And that's why the Standard's been blowing up, because guys have been noticing that. So guys, with all that being said, this is why we believe so much in holistic excellence. Similar to holistic medicine, guys, everything is connected. And so what we like to do in the Standard is when a member joins, we go ahead and evaluate his life based upon the 5 pillars of excellence: physically, emotionally, spiritually, socially, and financially. And then based upon where his biggest area of weakness is, we invest time into that, because that's what's going to get the best ROI on this investment. So I'm going to give you an example for my people who are in business. If you have a sales team, and currently the sales team has the show rate for your sales team is, let's say, 30%. And the close rate for the sales team is 55%. My question to you, if you want to grow and scale your sales team and take it to the next level, what are you investing your money in? Are you going to invest your money in improving your close rate or improving your show rate? The correct answer is, according to this, if it's just this as an example, they're basically the same. But check this out. In the real world, it's harder, right, to increase the close rate by 10%. Right? To go from 55 to 65. That's harder, way harder than getting the show rate up from 30 to 40. So a lot of times what business owners would do is like, yo, when they see a big area that's a weakness like this, like, yo, let's focus all of our time into the show rate and getting this up, because it'll be easier and it'll give us maximum returns on our investment. That's the same thing when it comes to holistic excellence. That's why I'm telling you guys right now, you don't need more money. Because I'm telling you, if you had taken care of the other areas, you would have more money. And so if you are a guy like, yo, I want to figure out where I am in my biggest area of weakness, go to the link in the description below. We created a 5-pillar evaluation for great men like you to be able to evaluate and see what are their biggest areas of weaknesses. But it's only for 6-figure earners. If that 6-figure earner is not going to work for you. So get that, and I'll give you a free guide on how to grow in that area. The most valuable thing in life is not money. The most valuable thing in life is peace. And what happens is a lot of people, in my opinion, are really chasing money because they want peace and they want freedom. But check this out. If I told you I can give you $1 billion, you have an average looking wife who kind of respects you, who's just okay, and you have an average body, a dad bod that's just okay, below average testosterone, but you have $1 billion. Or would you rather have $1 million and have your smoking hot wife that you always wanted, who loves and respects you, and you also have the body that you've always dreamed about and you're in great health? A lot of people are going to choose the latter. You know why? Because it's peace. It's peace. Right? That's what matters the most. I don't care how much money I have. If I have no friends, if I have this terrible woman, if I have this terrible body, what does it all matter? And so for us, that's why in the Standard, we tell guys all the time, man, wealth, health, and relationship is the key. But there are multiple forms of health. There's emotional, there's spiritual, right? And then there's physical. And so my desire is to bring the awareness to you guys about the areas that you're lacking, and to show you that, man, if you were able to resolve these things, you're going to become so much more productive. You're going to become so much more intelligent. You're going to become a more connected individual. You're going to become a more aligned individual, and freaking the money will start raining. So guys, hopefully this helped, and hopefully you realize that money is not your problem. And like I said, if you want to go ahead and take the evaluation and see where your biggest area of weakness is, go to the link in the description below. I'm also pinning it to the comments. Thank you guys so much for your time, and have a great day.